is this heaven? Like, seriously.
Only you would think that.
I seriously, I was like
Wow.
maybe first or second grade, and I saw that gym, and I saw these plates, and I saw these, like, to me, I'm sure now I would think they're not that strong.
Yeah, yeah.
But I saw these guys like lifting weights, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Funny.
Like,
You're too
this
funny.
is amazing. Welcome, beautiful people, to the Lost and Local podcast. We're Adam,
And Hannah.
two Korean citizens who grew up abroad and are now figuring out life in Korea.
Join us as we share stories and our honest perspective on what it means to be lost and local.
So we've got a topic right down the alley for me. It is the topic of working out. And the icebreaker we wanted to talk about today is, what is the most challenging workout that you've done? So Hannah, how about it?
So for someone who prides herself in being pretty fit, I got schooled by these Korean ajumas because I joined a spinning class. Like I did a trial run because I was like, oh, like spinning sounds fun. And you like do dances to music and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I can do that. I'm active. And then I went and they were so much better than me. And I don't think I made it past the first 10 minutes. Like, dancing wise, I was just so focused on pedaling, and then they're like, oh, you should like up the tension so it gets harder, and I'm like, no. Like, I can't even.
Oh, so this was a spinning class in the gym that you went to.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I tried to.
Oh.
I ended up not signing up. And then,
After it?
Afterwards. And they're like, oh, like when you asked to join the spinning class, we thought you were an expert spinner, because otherwise, why would you ask to be put in this class? Because it's known to be very like strenuous.
Oh.
And I was like, I did not know that it was going to be strenuous. And he was like, oh, well, we can do other things like PT. And I was like, no, I'm okay. So I left.
Was it like one of those trial ones that you could try out first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trial run for me. For the ajumas, apparently like they come every day. And so they're like really pro. And they can do everything for 45 minutes.
So when you say ajuma, let's clarify to our audience, what kind of age range would you say they were? Late 30s to 50s?
40s.
Oh, 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, do we call ajumas 50s?
So technically, anyone who's married is an ajuma.
Oh.
But I'm already at that age group, right? So people my age and older are considered ajumas. But then it gets a little because not everyone gets married anymore.
True.
But also, like, if you're not working at 10 a.m. on a weekday, like,
the assumption is that you're married and that you're
and
just...
someone's funding you, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they were intense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, so for me, I think, honestly, the hardest workout that I've ever had is just the daily workouts that we had during wrestling season.
Back in high school.
Yeah. So the reason why I mentioned that is that, unlike a lot of sports, when you're done working out, you can drink Gatorade, you can drink water, replenish yourself, get rehydrated, go home that night and just eat whatever you want because, you know, you lost a ton of calories. Well, during the wrestling season, you do exact opposite. You can't hardly drink anything. You're spitting in a cup all day. After your workout, you're running in like what we call like trash bags and stuff. You're running in what we call plastics, and you're running up and down stairs to even sweat more after the wrestling workout.
Why?
To make weight.
Oh, because you guys have like weight classes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
see. It's not any particular workout, but I would say that the wrestling workout just in general is the most difficult because you cannot replenish yourself. You can't, you're literally after workout, you're just drinking a little bit and then you're spitting all day the next day throughout the week just to make your weight so that when you wrestle that particular day, that evening or whatever, or on that Saturday, that you have to make weight. And generally, back in the day in high school, I weighed probably around 143 pounds.
What's that in kilos?
Yeah, let's figure that out.
2 kilos. almost 65. Wow.
Okay, but I had to make weight at 125 pounds. So I wrestled basically under the 57 kilogram weight class.
54.5. So
Oh no, it's 56.9 kilograms, 125 pounds.
no, but you went down to 120.
Oh yeah.
So you had to lose like 10 kilos.
Yeah.
Why?
So at 143 pounds, back in high school days, because I'm not the tallest guy in the world. 143 pound guy was just like, they were huge. So in order for me to compete and really do well, I would have to lose weight to get down to the lower weight class so I could just demolish all the little skinny guys. But then I would have to become skinny and do it. So I'll throw up some B-roll of my wrestling. I was like so lean. But yeah,
crazy.
Wrestling workouts are like, honestly, I think I still have PTSD because literally I will wake up after a horrible dream of trying to make weight and working out like crazy just to make weight. Yeah, it's still is semi-nightmares to this day of trying to make weight.
But like, so they weigh you and then do you start wrestling immediately?
Yeah. In professional sports like boxing, they'll weigh you the day before.
Oh,
and then
so
you can just like gorge yourself in terms of food. But with wrestling, right after the weigh-in, and they literally weigh you in like the old-fashioned cow scales. And you all just strip down naked. You're weighing yourself, and then the meat starts soon after. So right after the meat, you're like downing honey, pure honey. You're like eating like Jello shots.
Yeah.
Not alcoholic, but it's just Jello with tons of sugar in it, and you're just doing whatever you can just to get some type of form of energy. But yeah, wrestling season, I would say is probably the hardest because when you think about any other workout, you can go home and replenish yourself.
Yeah.
But with wrestling season, that ain't happening.
So why did you wrestle? Like, it sounds just like pure torture.
Because I love combat. I love one-on-one where you can go like individual mano to mano person. Like I like team sports, but you could technically in a team sport, you could have the game of your life and you could still lose.
That's true.
But in wrestling or any like a combat sport, you can only blame yourself.
And you like that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
So did you question? Did you ever faint from dehydration?
No, but during track season I did. So basically it's where your body overheats and it doesn't sweat enough and then you black out.
You've had that. You've had that before.
I had to go to the hospital.
That's scary.
But anyway, yeah. So that's not the most challenging workout per se, but it is definitely I would say probably the
most
ranks
scarring
up there as one of the most difficult overarching workouts over a period of time that anyone could do.
Gosh, I can't. I love water. Wow.
Yes. Very, very true.
Wow, Adam, that's insane. I really admire you. And I think let's just get into it. We want to talk about fitness today.
Let's do it.
And you definitely have way more experience with like gym culture, both in the States and in Korea.
For sure.
I'm a little like finicky with gyms. I mean, I'm more of like a strength trainer. Like I don't know how to say this. Like my body is prime for like quick workouts instead of long distance running or like endurance.
Okay.
So I'm like pretty like good at lifting weights, but then I get so bored that after like 3 months, I'm like, I don't want to do this. And then I quit my gym membership. And then like even in Korea, they like try to hold you on for like a whole year, right? The best rate is like the year-long membership. But I was like, I can't commit to that. So Korean gyms, I only tried out that spinning class and then I never went back. But you've been at your gym for quite a while, right?
Yes. So my current gym, well, after COVID, I didn't actually go back to being in a physical gym until around 2023. But for basically almost 3 years, I literally did calisthenics at home.
Oh.
Yeah. And I actually, while you retain some of your strength, you do lose it because you just don't have a lot of the equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been back to the gym for the last 2.5 years now. But yeah, before that I was always either had a gym membership or I had my own home gym. So yeah, maybe I'll throw up some B-roll of my my home gyms over the years.
Wow.
But yeah, sometimes I just didn't want to hassle going to the gym, so I would just build my own home gym. But there is something to be said about going to the gym. There's just something like, I don't know, like it's really nice to see other people working out and you can kind of get motivated together, even though you technically don't work out together. But yeah.
Wow. Do you notice any differences between Korean and US gyms?
Yeah. So in terms of working out etiquette and just the progression of understanding workout etiquette is far more advanced in the States versus Korea. So for example, when I moved to Korea in 2018, I joined a gym right away. And I remember like when you lift in the States, sometimes if you're lifting a lot of heavy weight, you'll kind of grunt, right? Like this, right? And in the States, it's very common. And a lot of times if you have a workout partner that comes with you, they'll be like, you can do it. You know, they'll like motivate you, right? Verbally. And it's very common culture. But my first gym in Korea was back in 2018. And remember that in 2018, the gym culture wasn't as advanced as it is now. Fortunately, Korea has really progressed in the last 7 years of getting more into gym culture. The amount of actual gyms have like blossomed since 2018. But I got there and I was I always work out by myself. And I was kind of like this. And then like the gym attendee person comes over to me. He's like,
"You're too loud."
No, you can't do that.
Oh.
I'm like, what? Like, I just have to lift silently? I'm like, how am I supposed to like really push myself if I can't even make a noise?
Yeah.
When you're in the gym, like a lot of in America, you try to go up to, like if they're at a station that you're working out at and you want to work out, oftentimes if you can be like, hey, can I work in with you? You know, if it's like they only have, if they only had like one bench press or one squat rack, you'd be like, hey, can I work out with you? Like, can I work in with you? And like, hey, my name is Adam, like, cool. And then you can kind of get to know each other, work out with each other, etc.
Yeah.
But because Koreans are a little bit more introverted and they don't really understand gym culture, you can't really step in and be like, can I work out with you? And another hilarious thing to this day that I still see is Koreans don't know how to spot each other. Oh. So like when I see people lifting, either they'll like bench press or they'll squat or they'll do some of the big heavy compound exercises without a partner, which is okay if you don't if you don't push yourself and possibly hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But sometimes someone will have another partner with them at the Korean gym. And then that person will try to help spot them, like on the bench bar, like on the bench press.
Oh no!
The Korean, what they'll do is generally in America, the etiquette is to go behind the bar and then and then you can either do this or lift this. Right? But what Koreans do, and it's not a one-time thing; it's multiple times. Is that the guy will literally straddle the guy's chest. He'll straddle
interesting.
So it's very like weird and awkward to say the least. So like
why?
So he'll straddle the guy's chest and so his butt is like sitting on top of the guy's chest. And it's kind of a weird compromising position. Yeah. And then like the guy will and then like they don't know how to lift it well. Oh, no. And it's just like watching the blind lead the blind. Oh, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like really goofy position, and then on top of that, like they don't know what they're doing, and because if you don't know how to lift properly, people have killed themselves because the bar will fall and hit on their neck. So I'm just like, wow, Koreans really don't have the foundation of gym culture. It's just and the gym culture in America, it started in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like real gym culture. But in Korea, it really didn't start until the last 7-8 years.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there's a big differentiation in terms of gym culture.
Yeah.
And understanding like how that works.
Because like the few times I went in the States, someone would tell me if I'm doing something wrong. But in Korea, does no one point out that they're spotting incorrectly?
Well, that's a controversial thing.
Oh.
Actually, yes, in the States, you will get the person who just can't keep their mouth shut. They're just like, oh my gosh, you're doing the squat wrong or you're doing the bench press wrong. You'll get people who will come to you and be like, yo, man, like that's not proper. Like, let me show you how to do it. But these days in gym culture, it's kind of a no-no. You're not supposed to do that because
like mansplaining.
Yeah. It's like a lot of times people will have their understanding of the proper form. And while there is proper form, sometimes like even for example on bench press, like the proper form of powerlifting bench press is to have your butt touch the bench, have your shoulder blades touch the bench, and have your feet planted on the floor. And then there's a certain way to do it.
Yeah.
But that's powerlifting benching. If you want to do bodybuilding benching,
It's
a lot
different.
of times you won't have your feet on the floor. You'll put your feet up on the bench, or you'll just lift your feet up off the bench. And then bench this way, but you'll do lighter weight. But for some people who don't understand that some people are trying to do bodybuilding rather than powerlifting, they'll go to that person, they'll be like, hey, you're supposed to have your feet on the bench. On the floor. But then they don't realize that everyone has a certain different goal.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, unfortunately, in Korea, the form for a lot of young guys,
not right.
sorry, Korean young men, but your form is horrid.
Oh,
it's
no.
just so bad. And there is a part of me that's like, oh gosh, I just really, really want to be like, you're going to hurt yourself, young man.
Yeah.
But I don't do anything. I don't say, even if I spoke Korean, it's just, I think in Korea, they would find it, I don't know if they would find it insulting.
Offensive.
However, in my anecdotal experiences of going to the gym, often I don't ever see someone that's not a PT trainer tell someone, hey, you're doing something wrong.
I see.
So,
Yeah. Korea is obsessed with PT, right?
Yeah.
That's not a thing in the States as much.
No. Yeah. In Korea, you'll see dedicated gyms only for PT. You can't go and work out at the gym on your own. You would have to, because it's like a smaller boutique gym where they'll have the main sets of different equipment, but it's only for the PT trainer to take you through the circuit. But even the larger gyms, such as in Korea, there's Gym Box. That's one of the newer, larger ones. They do have PT trainers, but it's not a boutique PT, but there's still PT trainers around. Sure, in America, like at the larger, 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness, places like that, they will have PT people, but it's definitely not as common. And Koreans will take a lot more advantage in using PT trainers than people in the States that I've noticed.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed, Adam, is that Koreans only ever wear black or white, like workout outfits.
Yeah. So what's actually kind of nice about Korean gyms versus US gyms is that at least every place that I've been to, including the community gyms, there will be a outfit that they provide for you. So when you go to the gym, they'll have small, medium, large, extra large shirts and shorts for you.
Wow.
And it's really cute because like everyone's generally wearing the same clothes.
Oh, it's like a jjimjilbang.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, it's not mandatory. But I think a lot of Koreans appreciate it because they don't have to bring their own clothes. They don't have to worry about washing their own clothes. They can just come, put on the gym clothes, go take a shower, and then just have the gym launder the dirty clothes. I being probably more being from the States and maybe like expressing myself, I don't like wearing those clothes because a lot of times those clothes are not the highest quality. And then I don't know. I just don't like using the gym clothes. So I'll just bring my own clothes. But sometimes I'll use their shorts, but I like wearing my own top. But yeah, it's cute though that they do that versus the States. Unless you're like a high-end gym in the States, they may provide that. But even the fancier gyms like Gold's Gym, I don't think they provide like an outfit for you.
Yeah. Also for girls, gym workout clothes is like a whole different area of fashion right now.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Like I know YouTubers who do like clothing hauls from different brands and they compare like functionality, like outfit cut, all of that. But in Korea, I don't see that many brands like for workout clothes. It just seems like they're just wearing very standard, like not very colorful clothes.
That's true. You will see the occasional, whether it's a male or female, come in and wear the more up to date. Like the girls will wear the, I don't know what you call those. Like it's not the spandex, but it's like the
Leggings.
Yeah, that's like the workout leggings,
Yeah.
and they'll have like the special workout like tops and stuff, and they'll like express themselves. But most of the time, yeah, it's usually pretty like neutral, dark colors. But yeah, one thing I noticed in the States too is outside of the major gym companies like LA Fitness or 24 Hour Fitness, and usually any larger metropolitan city, there will be high-end gyms that will have like drink services, like swimming pools. They'll have like, you know, all the coffee shops in there and everything. And I've talked to several of my coworkers when I used to work at the bank in Oregon, and they belong to the really high-end gym, and the fees there are like
how much?
It's like $270 a month.
A month?
Yeah. But it's almost like a status symbol to be like, I work out at this said gym.
I see.
And then, you know, usually the clientele that can afford that is going to be high end. And they have that in all the larger cities, but that's for like the white collar people.
Yeah.
For all the blue collar people like myself and on down, like we're fine with normal gyms. But in America, it can get really intensely expensive.
That's
versus
crazy.
In Korea, I think even the boutique gyms are still going to be a lot more affordable than the US gyms.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would never.
So it's interesting that you were part of the gym, but you've gone to the gym and tried it, but it's just not your cup of tea. You like doing the soccer, and where you can work out, but also kind of have like interaction and all that different stuff.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is like functional fitness isn't always the same as like aesthetic fitness in a sense. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm coming from like a female perspective. A lot of the like gym workouts focus on looking good, but they're not always like fit because cardio doesn't always equate to like having like looking good,
just
right?
Just because you have like said muscle doesn't mean you're like in really great shape in other ways. You couldn't go and play soccer all day or something.
Yeah. So that's what I started noticing. I was like, oh, like after like working out in the gym for like 3 months and eating really clean, I was like, oh, I can see the difference visually. But if I had to run like 5K, I couldn't. So I just looked good, but I wasn't like actually fit. But when I'm currently, I don't look as nice as I did when I was like working out at the gym all the time, but I can definitely run more. I can like kick further. So I don't know. That's just what I noticed. And then also for like a lot of the retired athletes in Korea, they're turning to media jobs. So once they retire, when they're like 30 something, they start like having their own YouTube channels or like coming out on Korean TV, and they look better than when they were Olympic athletes. Okay. And they'll say like working out to look good is very different from like working out to be good at your sport.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What do you think? Would you agree, disagree?
Well, just between my experience with you, so let me clue you guys in. So Hannah and myself, my wife, and a few other people were hanging out, and there was this huge stairs. So I don't know what I was doing. I was just like having fun. I'm like, oh, let's race up the stairs. And I didn't think anyone was going to take me up on it. And then Hannah starts running up the stairs. And then I'm like, sweet. I start running up and she beat me.
I cheated. I cheated though.
Still, I was super impressed. I'm like, wow, soccer and volleyball. That like, because I mean, she doesn't work out at the gym like I do all the time, but then the functional workout like that, I was impressed.
Oh,
because I thought I was gonna pass you, and I didn't pass you. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I was really impressed. That's impressive.
Short distances, not long distances.
Yeah.
Okay, another question. During your time going to the gym, did you ever break an unwritten rule?
I think some of the unwritten rules in both the States and Korea are just the etiquette rules more than anything. Like, sure, like one of the rules is to put your equipment back in their place, which is actually a big like pet peeve of mine. It drives me crazy when I'll get to a station and there's like nothing is placed back in the correct place. The gym says, please put the weights back. A lot of people don't put it back exactly where they're supposed to.
I see.
I guess they break that rule, but that's a written rule. But part of the unwritten rules are just the etiquette of not hogging the bench for an hour because you're resting 3 minutes, and then on the same bench you decide to take some dumbbells and do some exercises in between your bench pressing, and then someone's waiting for the bench and you're on there for like 45 minutes and people are like, dude, when are you going to be done?
Yeah.
But I think another unwritten rule is just to make sure you're not like women don't want to be objectified.
Yeah.
So it's like a kind of an unwritten rule that you don't just like stare and make them feel weird or take pictures of them or whatever.
That's
But
very disturbing.
yeah.
Oh,
But then
gosh.
sometimes like I've seen like shorts on YouTube where girls will be working out in America and the guy's just like lifting, but then she'll accuse him of looking at her. And he wasn't looking at her. And so they've like pushed it past that rule.
Because there are creeps too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. I get why like there's female only gyms. Because as a woman who used to go, I used to go to like a YMCA, so it attracts a very wide range of interesting people.
Makes sense, yeah.
And they would like hog all the weights, and they wouldn't budge, and they would like pass it on to their friend. So I would never be able to like rotate into a certain machine. And it's also very intimidating when you're just starting off and like, you don't know the form and someone's like lifting like 50 pounds next to you. You're just like holding a 7-pound weight.
Yeah, there's a couple of, even in my neighborhood, there's a couple of all women's gyms.
Oh.
And I told my wife like, oh, babe, you should try it out.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's Korea is advancing. They're getting more progressive. There's a lot more gyms, so I'm really happy about it.
Yeah.
I went back to the States and worked out.
Like last year?
Yeah, in November. One thing I have to say is that the gym equipment is so much nicer in Korea.
Really?
Yeah. It's just cleaner.
Oh.
It's nicer.
I see.
It's like in America, it's like I don't know what it is, and maybe it's just the particular gyms that I went to, but they're the big box gyms that I went to, and they're just like not maintained as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also kind of wanted to ask you your thoughts on workout trends. Of course, Korea has trends even with workouts, but you did say that gym culture has slowly started like increasing in Korea. Do you feel like the average person you like meet on the street also is becoming a little more like muscular?
Yeah.
Embracing the muscular life, not the slim life.
So in 2018, I would walk around, I'd be like one of the bigger guys.
Oh. I mean, you still are one of the bigger guys.
Anyway, my brother-in-law came in 2018. He's like, I haven't seen anyone bigger than you. And I'm like, I kind of concurred. But now in 2024 or 2025,
yeah,
there's some big boys. However, caveat, Koreans that are big are cheating the system big time, because I've been working out all my life and I'll never look that big because it's
you're natural.
It's not possible unless you use drugs.
Yeah.
And I think the pressure with Koreans is that we're so into aesthetics and what we look like that the temptation for steroids, granted, it's a steroid epidemic these days everywhere. Europe, America, because it's so readily available and it's a lot cheaper. And it's unfortunately the Koreans are really embracing it. And now they didn't really care about looking good until recently.
Yeah.
And now one of the big trends is to do a photo shoot and go to
Body
one of the
profile.
Yeah, a body profile.
Yeah.
So Koreans will spend the equivalent of like $1,000 US
Oh.
on. So you can get it cheaper, but still it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot of money. And then a professional photographer will take shots for you.
Yeah.
And you can look that way by dehydrating yourself for a few days and then oiling yourself up, having the perfect lighting, and you can look good. And then they can brush you up on Photoshop. Koreans love doing that.
Yeah.
And then that way they can be like, at least I look like this at one point in my life. I remember like I had a couple of harmonies at my gym when I was working out at the community gym, and they asked me if I have a profile. They wanted to see my profile. And
That's so interesting.
At first I was like, what are they asking? And then my gym, one of the workers at the gym that speaks English, they're like, oh, they want to know if you did like the body profile pictures. And I'm like,
why would they want to see your body profile?
Yeah. Well, they were really cute. They actually were really nice to me all the time. And they just assumed that I had a body profile.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And it makes sense, unfortunately, for Korea because they're so into their looks.
Yeah. But I think the standard of beauty has changed for men because back in high school, like Korean boy idols, they were like stick thin. They're very pale,
Aren't
stick
they still
thin.
that?
No, it's like slowly
Really?
changing.
Oh.
Right around when I was like in college, there was one group called 2PM that they were like the first group to like start working out and like having tan skin and all of that. And now more and more people are embracing that as a beauty standard for guys. So even when I like take the subway, I'm like pretty surprised to see a lot more diversity in body composition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You for sure see, and it's not just men; it's females too that are really that are really fit.
Oh, I haven't seen any women, but
Whoa.
you have.
Not that I'm looking that one. Now I look back.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like put you on the spot.
No, but yeah, but you definitely see more. You definitely see more guys more fit, and some of them are definitely cheating, and others aren't. Powerlifting and lifting weights throughout your life. Studies have now realized, people now realize, like strength training is one important. Of the biggest things as you get older because you could be a runner all your life, but strength training helps prevent falls. Like if you can like do squats and deadlifts and all these different things when you're young and have really good flexibility, you prevent yourself from falling as you get older. Because that's how old people really hurt themselves. Is falling. And if you, because it's just muscle atrophy happens, but if you can keep that muscle atrophy from happening, you will live a lot longer. So that's one of the keys.
Oh, okay. There's a couple other trends. I don't know how much experience you have with Pilates, but Pilates gained a lot of attraction in Korea for the past couple of years.
Yeah. And it's pretty much all female.
Yeah. And also very expensive.
Yeah. And those Pilates gyms, I've never done it, but they look like torture machines. They look like medieval torture machines.
I think people who do it also think it's torture.
Yeah. But I guess it works.
It's supposed to be really good for your posture and like actually having functional strength because you're strengthening a lot of the small muscles instead of just the big muscle groups.
Have you ever tried it, Hannah?
I unfortunately did, but not with the equipment. Just like American Pilates.
Is there?
They don't.
Are Koreans more?
I think there's like reformer Pilates where you use those machines and it's much harder. And then I did like the body weight Pilates. I hated it. I don't like slow exercises. I wanted to leave, but I paid, so I stuck it out for a month.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, not fun for me.
Oh, you know what another trend is these days is CrossFit.
So in America, CrossFit is huge. In Korea, something called F45, Pusao.
I have not heard of that.
It's very similar. It's where like it's a group of people and they do like circuit training, like intense circuit training. But Pusao is like the new running club where people who want like a whole like community, fitness community, they like join Pusao. But that's also kind of expensive.
What was that Korean Netflix show about the 100?
Physical 100.
Physical 100. Yeah. So maybe it was the first season or maybe the second season, but there was a guy that was into CrossFit and he did pretty good. He was a really cute, charismatic guy. Really, really cute kid. My wife really thought he was cute. Anyway,
We're exposing you.
He was a CrossFit guy. Overall, like could compete in a lot of the competitions. Granted, I will tell you on the physical 100, some of the top competitors were wrestlers. Yeah. That's right. Wrestling. Yeah. But he was a CrossFit guy. And I was like, wow. I mean, CrossFit definitely seems to
do intense.
Well in competition.
Intense.
Yeah. The caveat about CrossFit or any of those things is that it's so easy if you don't do it properly to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're so intense for a short periods of time.
Really quick. Yeah.
Like a lot of people hurt themselves unless you're like not a professional, but unless you're really in really good shape, you should not CrossFit. I mean, you got to be in shape before you start doing those intense. For me, I would never desire to do CrossFit.
Oh, really?
Because even though I feel like I could do it, I don't like doing things that could compromise my health or hurt myself.
I see.
Because the thought of being injured, even like if I break my arm or something for 3 months,
it sets you back.
I would be depressed. I don't want to do anything that I could like hurt myself. And CrossFit is just like a recipe for like possibly hurting
because it's like
yourself.
Chaotic, it's quick.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. That makes sense. Continuing on with your experience with working out, when did you first start working out? Was it tied to wrestling? Like, cause you did strength training, or like, was it something you picked up later in life? And like, what motivated you to continue working out for all these years?
I think it's, they talk about nature versus nurture. And I was adopted, as some of you whom I heard the third episode in our podcast. So my mom found it fascinating that when they adopted me at 3.5 years old, I think I was like 4 years old, and I saw Muhammad Ali fighting on the TV, like small little television.
Boxer.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Championship boxer back in the 70s and 80s. She was shocked to see me respond. She's like, I got up and I started mimicking his like punching, and I got so excited that she was like, oh my gosh, like none of my kids ever did this. My adopted child is like
really into this. Yeah.
And to this day, I remember I was like in grade school, and my brother was playing racquetball. I was like in grade school, and for some reason he took me that night. There was a gym in the racquetball building. And I still to this day remember walking into that gym, and I was mesmerized. I was like, is this heaven? Like, seriously.
Only you would think that.
I seriously, I was like maybe first or second grade, and I saw that gym, and I saw these plates, and I saw these like, to me, I'm sure now I would think they're not that strong. Yeah. But I saw these guys like lifting weights, and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Too funny.
Like,
You're
this
too funny.
is amazing. And all my life, I wanted to be strong. Like there's the Incredible Hulk. I know like there's the new Marvel stuff, but the Incredible Hulk was one of the early like heroes of the 80s. And I wanted to be strong like Incredible Hulk. And I felt like I had an alter ego too. I felt like I was like the nice guy, but then I could get mean. And so like I was like, the Hulk was my hero. Yeah. And I wanted to be strong like him. That's why I learned how to wrestle.
Wow.
So I'm kind of like an outlier. I don't think there are too many people that are like me to this day that I continue to work out and try to stay healthy. Working out was always a thing for me.
Wow.
So I don't feel like some people would say like because I have a YouTube channel, and they were like, be like, you should do like a workout YouTube channel. I mean, there's a plethora of workout YouTube channels, but I told my wife, like, it's kind of hard for me to think about even talking about it, because like, I think, okay, just eat healthy.
Oh.
Go and work out 4 times a week.
I know what you mean.
And it's simple.
Yeah.
And people are like, what?
It's so natural. It comes so naturally to you.
Like, I don't even know how to explain it.
You can't really encourage people who are not motivated.
Because it makes no sense to me. Like, it makes no sense. Like, oh, I want to do it. Like, well, then just do it then. Like, I don't understand. Just stop eating processed foods. Just eat healthy. Like, I don't get it. So I would be like the worst coach, because I would have no empathy towards it.
Yeah, I have the question, like, what motivates you, but you can't even answer that. You're just always motivated.
Yeah, I just always wanted to be healthy, and especially with the fact that my wife is younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the, I don't know if I shared this before, but I promised my mother-in-law, because that was one of the things that she was a little concerned about. Like, oh, you're much older than my daughter. She's worried that, and it makes sense. She's worried that my daughter's going to have to take care of you when you get older.
Yeah.
And that might be unfair for her. I told my mother-in-law, I promise you, I will always stay healthy.
Amazing.
So,
wow. And you've kept your promise.
Yeah. How about you, Hannah? What made you start, like, I mean, because Hannah's not normal either. I mean, someone at her age, not that you're old, because I'm much older, but like, you don't see many people that are
playing team sports,
that wanting to play team sports, that can run up a big stairs and beat me. Like, that's just like not normal and I'm just like, what motivates you? I'm really curious.
I don't think I'm motivated, but I think sports just was always part of my life. Kind of like what you're saying. Like, you don't really think about forcing yourself to do something, because it's just like so natural and like embedded into your life. I think that's the same with me for sports. Like, I did gymnastics from age 4 to like 2nd grade. And then when we moved to China, like, there were no gymnastics. So I picked up soccer. And because we lived in a very rural area, that's all you could do. Badminton or soccer. Like, there's nothing else you could do. Or you played tag and hide and seek, even in middle school.
Classic games.
Yeah, that's all I did. All I did every single day. And then in high school, I think I was amazed to see that there were organized sports. And because like soccer was
even
more
organized sports in Korea, because I'm sure there were way more choices in America versus even Korea when you went to high school.
Yeah, but yeah. If I think about current American high schools, they have like lacrosse, they have like wrestling. Yeah. There's so many different types of sports. Yeah. But in Korea, we had like 6 main sports.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you guys offer to high school kids?
Volleyball, tennis, basketball, swimming, soccer, cross country, and then one more I'm blanking out on.
Wow.
But it's not as robust as like public schools in the States. But
true, but
that's like surprising. For a Korean high school, that was pretty rare. And then I remember when I like pulled my Achilles, I went to the doctor.
What?
As a soccer player, you're always rolling your ankles. Like it's pretty normal. But
did you have to have surgery?
No.
Oh, okay.
It just like I just
pulled
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I strained it. I bruised it. It didn't snap.
Okay.
But when I went to the doctor, he was like, why are you a girl playing soccer? And you should like the treatment plan was to stop playing soccer. And I'm just like, that's so stupid. Funny. Like, no. But nowadays, I'm not actually the minority. Like back in high school, I was definitely the minority. And like, it was really hard to find cleats. Like we would have to buy boys cleats.
Okay.
Yeah, because there were like no women's.
So let's progress more. Now like the Gen Z ladies are have more opportunities. Yeah. And it's more normal.
But the funny thing is, Korea is like really influenced by media. And so there's this TV show, I don't know what it's called, but it's like they got women, like female celebrities from different areas, like singers, models, like comedians, and then they started training them in soccer, and then they like would do tournaments, and then they would like film all of this on TV. And after that came out, suddenly all these women started wanting to like play sports.
Oh.
Yeah. So after I came back last year,
cool.
my friend was like, do you want to go to like pickup soccer? And I was like, Korea has pickup soccer now? That's like crazy.
Yeah.
And like, would we have to play with guys though? Because some guys are like, they never pass. And I play defense. So if a guy just kicks the ball and runs really fast, I'm not going to be able to defend.
Yeah.
Like it's just impossible to do that.
Sense.
And so I was like, I don't really want to play with guys. And she's like, what do you mean? There's like girls only pickup soccer all across Seoul. And so that was like a pleasant surprise for me like 2 years ago when I was visiting. And then, so when I decided to move to Korea, I was like, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sign up for a sport because I love community. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm so bored by the gym. So that's how I sort of got into team sports. And are we close? No, but it's still really fun to see more women play sports.
No, that's
yeah.
Because I was surprised that I thought it was co-ed soccer when you mentioned it the last time we talked about this.
Yeah.
But then when you said it's a all female soccer league, I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was that much interest.
A lot of interest right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great because I love being able to encourage society to stay active and to be healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of Korea for that purpose.
And I'm amazed that some of my teammates are like born in 79, 78.
That's old.
Yeah, they're moms. They have like elementary school age kids, and they bring the kids along sometimes, and they're like doing the same drills I'm doing, and it's just amazing. I'm like, I love this. This is something to aspire to do.
Yeah.
Because when I think about like having kids, I feel like, oh, that's the end.
That's the end. It's game over for you.
The only time I'm going to work out is like chasing my kids around the house. But like they're disproving that myth to me.
Great.
So it's very encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hannah, speaking of the new generation of wanting to stay in shape, kind of segues into Korea being so like into we're like the beauty nation, right? All the beauty products in Korea. Do you feel pressure to look a certain way in Korea versus like when you lived in the States for the 15 years in Boston or whatever, and then you came back to Korea, was there any kind of like dread, like, oh, I'm going to go back to Korea because now I have the pressure of looking a certain way? Or did you, how was that experience for you?
I've actually been pleasantly surprised because Korea is definitely, it's improving. I wouldn't say it's as accepting. I wouldn't say Korea is as accepting as the US with different body shapes and like sizes.
Sure.
But it's like definitely less toxic than when I was growing up here in high school.
Oh, because you did have something to compare it to being in Korea in high school.
Yeah. And especially because I grew up with a lot of Koreans back in China, I was always considered fat. And when I look at my pictures now from like elementary, middle school, I'm like, I'm not fat. I look normal. But there was such an obsession with being like stick thin. Yeah, like stick thin, and you had to be very pale. And so if I'm just like naturally more tan, so I never fit into that mold. And so the few times I visited Korea in like middle school and high school, or I lived here in high school, whenever I saw my grandparents, they'd be like, why are you so fat? Like you need to lose weight. Like that's the first thing they would say to me.
That's like a common thing.
I've
heard some of the ladies that I know come back to Korea and almost cry because their grandparents were so obnoxiously like.
Yeah, that's the first thing they comment on. And then they're like, eat more. And I'm just like, it's not adding up.
But like, why aren't you eating more while you're eating? But then why are you fat?
So I like kind of braced myself to be like, oh, my grandma's going to say that again. Let me just anticipate. And my aunts too, because I have like 5 aunts.
Whoa.
They would always be like, Hannah, like, why are you so fat? Like, how are you going to get married? Like, no one's going to want to take you. And I'd just be like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't want them either. The edgy Hannah would come out. Now in 2024, 5, they don't say those kinds of things. And I think they've realized it's not polite to say those things, or not okay, socially acceptable in Korea media. And this is why like I I'm realizing how powerful media is for like changing perception. There are people who don't fit that mold, right? And there's still toxicity because like some Korean idols are like starving themselves, and they're starving themselves, but there's also different types of people, and they're popular and they're cute and they're married and they're bigger than their husbands, but it's okay. And so I think I'm seeing a lot of hope in this kind of shift in Korea. There's still a lot of comparison, and so like on dating apps, there's a certain dating app where you can like rate people. And you have to get a certain rating to meet someone of the other rating. So that would never happen in the States.
Physically rating you?
Yeah. And you can only match with someone with a similar rating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So in those ways, you're like, oh, Korea still hasn't changed or improved. But yeah, I do feel like there's a little bit of change. And in the States, though, I think it was more height. Like they don't care what size you are or how muscular or how thin you are.
Vertical height.
But vertical height is like, it matters way more, even with like sports, or like maybe it's also because I taught high school and I'm petite by their standard. I'm like normal Korean standard, but in the States I'm petite. And there was sort of this pressure to, like, I really needed to speak up to feel seen and to feel heard, because I look young, I'm tiny, sometimes they mistake me for a student. So I do remember in the States I would dress up really like formal business casual, whereas like my coworker who's a white man and he's like 50 something would wear flip-flops and like cargo pants.
Yeah, you would have to overcompensate not to. Like,
and nobody would question his authority, but they would question mine. So I think that's the kind of pressure I felt in the States. Yeah. What about you?
I think just for me growing up, I always knew that I was going to be at a disadvantage in the States. Just because I'm shorter and I'm Asian. So even in the workplace, even in retail banking, I think partially it had to do with the fact that I just wasn't tall and I wasn't of the right color skin. Granted, if I really aspired to really make it, I probably could have pushed through the barrier.
Yeah, but there is a barrier.
Yeah, for sure. And I think most people have seen studies show that if you're taller, you're going to have a better advantage in the States.
Higher
to
paid
get
jobs.
in a position.
Yeah.
And if you're a man, of course, there's the sexism part too, especially back in the earlier years. But I always knew there was a disadvantage.
I see.
So it was just always something that I just knew was going to be an issue. But if I wanted to aspire to make it corporately in Korea, I think it would still be an issue for me. I mean, even if I spoke Korean, it would be hard for me to find a position because of my age.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard for you. And so it would be really hard for me because of my age now. My age is my factor. But
Yeah. I mean, Korea is, I feel like, obsessed with appearance because in America, you couldn't think of asking someone to put their photo on their resume. That would be illegal. Yeah. But a lot of Korean companies still require that, especially the nicer, like the, what is it, like Samsung jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put your picture on all the applications.
They're still asking for that. Some companies are trying to like break away from that and they don't ask for certain details.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
But they're still doing discriminatory practices based on appearance and like height and all that.
Yeah. For a little bit, I actually did teach English to professionals in Korea.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah. I
learned something new.
It was short-lived, 6 months tops. But I had to send in my application and I had to send in my picture. The sticking point was my age and the fact that I was Korean because they were like, a lot of our clients want to learn business English and they want to go to the States. They don't want to be taught by a Korean person. And I would be like, well,
so stupid.
I'm so far from being a Korean person. But they're like, well, we're going to have to contact you back and let them know and see if they're okay with it. because I didn't grow up in this society, it doesn't bother me as much. Because even when we went to go get the pictures, I literally asked my wife to tell the person that was taking my picture, please don't do any Photoshop.
Oh, that's like
touch-up.
so standard here.
Like, don't do it,
Yeah.
please. They do the touch up because they want to look good. But then like, when you actually meet that person,
You don't look like the picture.
you don't look like that. They can make your face look skinny. They can make it look smooth. They can make it look exactly what you're not.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that that's still like what they want, which is really strange.
It is. It is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got to wrap up this episode because we've been talking for a while. But I'm just kind of curious, how does staying fit affect other parts of your life, Adam?
For me personally, it's my therapy. So if I couldn't work out, I think I would probably have to go to therapy because there's no outlet. For me, working out is like it's like the pressure is building, and then when you work out, it just dissipates.
Oh, I see.
Just I think for self-preservation for me, working out, whether it be running or lifting, is just what keeps me sane. Of course, one of the biggest reasons to stay healthy, especially when I was in my 30s and 40s, was because I thought maybe I would be a father one day. I wanted to be able to do activities with my children. Because everyone, when you have a child, you're supposed to get the dad bod, like the dad bod
beer
with
belly.
the big bear belly.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if I become a father, I don't want to have the dad bod. I want to be able to do things with my
Be
kids.
the cool active dad.
Yeah. But then on top of that, the motivation was the promise to my mother-in-law, but more importantly than that, just a promise to myself to take care of Hyojin. So I shared this on my YouTube channel, but when I was a 16-year-old kid, I read a Christian book by the author Elizabeth Elliot. Her husband was Jim Elliot, and he died by the Aka Indians. He was a missionary, and he went to Wheaton College, which is in the outskirts of Chicago, Illinois. When he was in Wheaton College, he decided to join the wrestling team. And the reason why he wanted to join the wrestling team is that he wanted to be a missionary. And like, well, if I'm going to be a missionary, I need to be in physical shape so I can endure the rigors of being in the mission field. And I was 16 years old and I was already into wrestling and staying in shape. And I had just become a Christian. I'm reading this book, and this is a guy that talks about wrestling and staying in shape for the rest of his life. I was like,
wrestling is life.
sign me in. I will always stay in shape.
Oh.
So that was his mentality stuck with me.
Oh, wow.
Granted, I didn't go into the mission field, but I was a youth pastor for 17 years. You have to be in shape as a youth pastor. You have to be able to do activities with the kids. You have to be able to do things with them. So just to be able to do things with people is a huge reason why I want to be in shape.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay tuned, folks, for the story when Adam saves someone in the youth group while rafting.
So Hannah, how about you? How does staying fit in other parts of your life, emotional, mental, social, etc., how does that work into your life?
The older I get, the more I realize that everything's interconnected. When I have a really rough day at work, I couldn't lift as well as other days. And that's when I realized like mental strength and health affects your physical health. And then when I wasn't working out regularly and like you said, like it's like an outlet, right? When I wasn't doing that, I started noticing I was, being a hermit, and I wouldn't want to meet my friends. I didn't want to like leave the house. And so then I was like, oh, this is all intertwined. And so if I want to have a really like healthy life, for my parents, by your 30s, you're married and you're worrying about your family, right? That's the kind of mindset that they had. And that's the only path of like doing life right. But for my generation, marriage isn't always in the picture anymore. Not that I don't want to get married, but I'm just like, I can't just wait for someone to start my life. I need to start my life, and I need to have a robust life with or without a partner. And I think after I realized that, I was like, oh, so I need to start making choices, and I can't really rely on my parents to show me what that choice is going to be, because we're already diverging. Like our paths are not merging together.
Okay.
And that's when I realized, oh, like if working out is affecting my emotional health and my mental health and my social health. Like I need to start getting a routine in. And I don't like working out, but unlike you, but I think that's the overall balance is what what challenges me to continue to like find that balance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One thing I would encourage people to do is track your workouts because you don't realize you're getting stronger, you're improving. But if you track what you're doing, whether it's your runs, like last night, I run this 2-mile course where I go all the way up a hill, all the way down and through the neighborhood. And I only do 2 miles. I don't want to do any more than that. But I time myself each run.
Wow.
And I improved last night by 25 seconds overall since my run from a few days ago. So it's the gamification. It's just fun. Like I'm racing myself. I'm like, can I beat my score? And then like when I work out my progressive overload, I'm like, okay, I did 5 sets of 5 on bench press and I did it at 120 kilograms.
Whoa.
So
Dang.
my goal now is to do 5 sets of 5, but on the 5th rep, if I can do 6 reps
You're
on the
pushing
5th
yourself.
set, that means I will move up 2.5 kilograms because that's the smallest place that you can add up to. I can't wait till I can do the 5th set, 6 reps.
Wow.
So it's a game. Can I do it more? Can I build on that? Can I pass it?
But you know, games are only fun when you win.
Yeah, unfortunately,
you get to win.
But that's the thing. Because muscle atrophy is real. The fact that I could lose the muscle that I gained is a huge reason why I never want to stop working out. Because if I'm like way back down to only doing 5 sets of 5 at 185 pounds versus 265 pounds, I would probably feel like the weakest person in the world and I would hang my head in shame and never want to come out. So yeah, but gamify it. Make it fun.
Okay.
Like find reasons. That's what I encourage you all to do.
Yeah.
Find ways to motivate yourself. Yeah, my goal is to be like 90 years old and post a YouTube video of me doing something physically and then I can finally go viral. Because I'm not going viral right now. Nothing I do is viral.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, if I could be like 80 and I could do all these things, like maybe people will like, they'll be like, whoa.
Okay. Looking forward to that viral video.
Yeah.
And speaking of, we hit a milestone. We hit 100 subscribers.
At the time of this recording.
Yes.
However, we're not sure when this recording will actually post, but yeah, I should post in the next few weeks.
Yeah. And we just wanted to thank you, everyone, our subscribers, for listening and also just, like also being guests, speakers. We're going to continue rolling out those episodes every last Friday of the month. So continue to stay tuned. If you're interested in coming into the studio, let us know. We're always looking for guests. Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to reach out to us, we do have our business inquiry email down below in the description. And in the meantime, you all, thank you so much for checking out the channel. We always appreciate it. Thank you for your support. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, leave a comment down below. Any comment would be amazing from you guys. Yeah, take care of yourselves, y'all. God bless. Peace. Bye.